there's a few people there. Hi, good morning, everyone. A few more people joining.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. We're just gonna wait maybe another minute before we start. I think we're just before 11 o'clock, so I can see there's people joining the call now. Hopefully everyone can hear us and can see us okay. Let me just share my screen preparation. Robin, if you can see the slide deck.
Yes.
You can see that and you can hear us okay.
Perfect. Yeah, I can hear you okay. I can see you on the slides.
Yeah, okay. I think we'll make a start. I think it's just about 11 o'clock. So hopefully everyone can see this on their screen. So good morning, formally from the Rochdale Times. Let me just move this slide on. We might just have to keep admitting people as we talk through. So yeah, good morning. A chance for you guys in Rochdale to meet the team behind the new news website launch, the Rochdale Times. We launched, as you may know, at the end of March. I think the 31st of March we officially launched. So we're just about 4 weeks in as a news site launch into the Rochdale market. A webinar presentation this morning. We think this might only be about 20-25 minutes long, so I'm just sharing on the screen some of the things that we'll cover this morning. So a little bit behind the team behind the Rochdale Times, as you can hear and see us now, but we'll give you a little bit more detail on our backgrounds, an introduction to the companies behind the Rochdale Times, which is two companies, Crosby Associates Media and North Square Media. So we'll give you a little bit of background to the companies behind the Rochdale Times, and then we'll just quickly talk you through some of the work that we've done in the first 3 or 4 weeks from a content point of view, some of the businesses that we've been talking with and working with in these first few weeks, and at the very end we'll do a Q&A, so a chance for anybody on this call to ask any questions. Typically in these sort of things people want to ask the editor the most questions, and perhaps not myself or Robin, who's our partnership manager, Carl alongside me being the editor. So let me give you a quick formal introduction to the three of us, as you can see on the screen. So myself, I'm Nick Fellows, I'm the Managing Director for Crosby Associates Media. I've been in the media industry for, I was just trying to work this out before the call, 28 years in the industry. Most of that time I've worked with one of the UK's biggest corporate news publishers at regional and national level, and the last 10 years of my time there I was regional managing director. So an interesting one for me to be involved in a launch into Rochdale. It's something we've got experience of as a team of 3 actually. Myself, Carl and Robin have been involved in new media launches in other northern towns in the last few years. We launched into Oldham after the Oldham Chronicle unfortunately went into liquidation. We've launched into Salford before, so we have a history, having all worked together for a previous business, of launching news brands into towns that have lost its voice to a degree, but lost its news brand and its own independence. Carl, alongside me, quick introduction.
Yeah, so as Nick says, we've worked together in the past, for a long time. My background is not as extensive as Nick because I'm younger than Nick, but about 15 years I've been in the industry, and I've been an editor of news websites around the world. I'm northern, as you can tell from my accent. Me and Nick first met at the Bolton News when he hired me in my first editorship actually. I've gone on to edit the Northern Echo. I was executive editor of a national newspaper for a few years, working for the biggest publisher in the UK, and I've launched news websites in the US. So, I've got history in this space, but I'm a proud northerner, and my passion has always been to celebrate northern stories and to tell much more positive stories of our communities than I think you get elsewhere. So that's my background.
Thank you, Carl. And Robin?
I'm the youngest of the trio, about 10 years plus experience in media and advertising and marketing. I worked for Johnston Press for several years and NewsQuest. So I've worked on titles such as Bolton News, Lancashire Telegraph, Lancashire Evening Post, Chorley Guardian, Salford City News, etc. So lots of experience in the sector and really proud to be involved in this project. Born in Manchester, currently living in Preston, so not too far up the road. So I will be making a regular appearance in person in Rochdale, which will be nice to meet some of you guys in person. And I'm really looking forward to giving the Rochdale a voice back with the support of Nick and Carl. Thank you.
Thanks, Robin. So a little bit behind, I think it's important that we're very clear and transparent from the outset of who we are. So it's not just the three of us out of our own pockets here. This is a new business launch into Rochdale from our existing businesses. So as I said, I work for a business called Crosby Associates Media, who have been established for 28 years. Crosby Associates are one of the UK's fastest growing independent media publishers. I'd go as far as saying we probably are the fastest growing media company right now in the UK. Crosby Associates is very different to perhaps what the Rochdale Times is as a genuine news site. Crosby Associates are primarily a B2B contract publisher, working as media partner with UK trade federations, so the building and construction sector. We also do the media for a number of major chambers of commerce in the UK, including London, Thames Valley, Lancashire, which is not a million miles away from Rochdale, Staffordshire, Hereford, lots of other places. So we work a lot with chambers of commerce as media partner, and we also work with some of our own brands in the affordable housing sector. So we've been around a long time. As a B2B publisher. Again, my background and Carl and Robin's background has been in local newspapers, so it seemed a good opportunity for us, given the void of what we felt was a lack of a representation and a voice in Rochdale following the sad demise of Rochdale Online. As Crosby Associates, we're also quite heavily into digital marketing, so we specialise in other areas outside of news, publishing and websites and content, so pretty prominent in things like video marketing, social media, event organisation, etc. So we're a pretty big company, being the main point of who's behind the Rochdale Times. It is a joint partnership with North Square Media, which is Carl's company. If Carl wants to add a bit more to that.
Yeah, so after leaving the biggest publisher in the UK last year, I set up North Square Media again for that focus on coming back to the North and telling content stories for other publishers and other businesses, how to kind of tell those stories, using my experience as 15 years as a journalist and editor, using that experience to tell stories in different spaces. So that was set up at the beginning of the year. It's got various projects, but the idea that it could help launch this was, absolute perfect moment to do that. But yeah, so that's North Square Media.
So very quickly, why launch into Rochdale, and what is the Rochdale Times? So as I said, we're sort of 3-4 weeks in of being live, and I'll share with you on the next slide some of the initial audience data, so you get an idea of how many people are already engaging with the brand. So short, sweet summary: we are a daily online news service for Rochdale, for the Rochdale community. And again, as a reference, this was a launch following the closure of the Rochdale online website. So it left Rochdale, in our view, without full, true representation, its own brand. Rochdale is covered by other news outlets. I fully appreciate that, but nothing specifically from a news outlet serving Rochdale and the Rochdale people. So we wanted to ensure the Rochdale and also the Rochdale community had a dedicated local news platform for the town, and a slightly different brief that we wanted to champion Rochdale, very much shine a light on the town, as it says on the screen here, its people, the wider business community. So clearly we're not going to just be pro and positive and good news about absolutely everything. That would be doing a disservice from a credibility point of view. Yes, there will be news as it happens, but primarily we want to focus on people, the positives, the good. And I'd like to think in our first 3-4 weeks, as again we'll share with you, we've certainly hit that brief. And I suppose just a message on the end there that any news brand and any news website is only as good as the support it gets from the community, and whether that's reading content, following us on social media, or for local businesses as a revenue stream for this business to advertise and market your business to a good, credible local readership. which is a nice link onto the next slide, which just summarises. This is for the month of April so far. So we launched on 31st of March, and on our launch date, we had 15,000 page views. So page views being the metric that is used in local publishing. Page views are the number of pages physically consumed or read. So for the month of April, excluding launch date, we've had, top left-hand corner, over 10,000 physical people, 10,317 as of yesterday for the month of April have physically visited rochdaletimes.co.uk. And of those 10 and a bit thousand people, they have consumed between them over 114, almost 115,000 page views and articles have been consumed and read by those people. So that's really, really positive. Again, if we had the 15,000 from launch date, 31st of March, we're clear of 130,000 page views within the first 4 weeks. So that gives us tremendous confidence that there is a need here and a desire for a news brand in Rochdale. Top right hand corner, I've just done a quick screen grab of our social media following on Facebook and Instagram. And again, it's very early days, but great to see that in 3-4 weeks, we've now got 345 physical followers following the Rochdale Times on social media. So I'll stop talking for a little bit. I'm just going to hand over to Cole now, who will talk through some of the content, objectives, strategy, and some of the news that we've featured thus far. Over to you, Cole.
It's not to overemphasise the point that Nick's just made about the traffic, but we've been really blown away so far by the traffic. When you add in, as Nick says, the 31st and yesterday, second highest traffic day yesterday, we're on actually now over 130,000 page views in a few weeks. To put that into context, as I mentioned earlier, I launched a UK national brand you'll have all heard of in the US 2 years ago, and that is more page views than those sites, which were set up with millions of pounds. It's more page views than they did in their first few weeks. So the need or the desire for local news in Rochdale is quite clearly evident in what we're doing, and I hope in the Q&A some of you will express this, that it's really resonated with people faster than we expected it might. And I think it's because of the sort of attitude that we've taken to news. As Nick said, the raison d'etre of this project is to shine a really positive light on the diversity and creativity of the people of Rochdale, which in my view, and you might have a more nuanced view, is I don't think it gets, and I don't think many towns like it get that holistic, positive, shining a light on it that they should, and that's what the Rochdale Times is endeavouring to do and hopefully already delivering. I've put up there one of the first, on day one we launched with a campaign, working with a company that's kind of behind this, who I knew anyway. There's £1 billion deal to get a direct train service from Rochdale to London restored. There hasn't been one for 25 years, and a private company wants to spend £1 billion of private investment, not tax money, to do that. But there's a lot of coming and going with the government to get approval for that. So we straight off on day one said Rochdale deserves this link. It's vital to transport, to investment, to jobs, all sorts of things, all sorts of positive things that would roll off that. And we launched a campaign on day one to try and get that back. The MP's already backed it, putting pressure where we can to get that done, just to give you a bit of a flavour of the fact that we are going to stand up for things that we think the community deserves, and we're going to put our weight behind it. Thank you. But key for us is about people, really telling stories of local people and the great things that they're doing. And there's a few examples there of a few in the last few weeks. We interviewed a Rochdale girl who's gone off to America to become a trailblazing US trucker, which we thought was a really interesting story. Did a few different angles on that. We covered the story of a rower from Rochdale who's broken the Guinness World Record for indoor rowing in 24 hours, fundraisers, raising money for the dementia unit. And then I think probably my favourite story since we've launched was the council staff awards. And there was a really heartwarming story in there about a young mum who died, who was really popular in Middleton. And her daughter collected the award on her behalf, and we covered that. So they're just a few examples again of how we're going to try and celebrate the stories of the people of Rochdale in a really positive way. And then, elsewhere, there's been the sad story of Joe Thompson's death, which we've covered, and then also how The football club covered that and paid tribute to him, which was really nice. We've covered from the beginning. As we were launching, Dale were on the cusp of a Wembley bid in the FA Trophy and still maybe through the playoffs. We've covered that as best we can. We were there when the Town of Culture kick-off first event happened and covered that as best we could, and loads of other stuff too. Obviously, as Nick said, there'll be the usual breaking news and all that kind of stuff, but we want to be there in a really positive way. And I hope these give you some confidence in what we're trying to do. And then here I've just included a few ways that you can get in touch with us. So obviously the website there, and we can send this out as well afterwards. But as Nick said, projects like these need your support. They need people to click on stories, get involved with us in all kinds of different ways. So I've given you a few different ways that you can do that. You can email us your stories, tell us your news, tell us what's going on in the community, and we'll do our best to cover it as best we can. Robin will tell you in a sec about how you can get involved from a commercial point of view. The Twitter handle's there, which we'd love you to get involved with, and the Facebook there as well. Oh, and I didn't mention on my first slide actually that as well as the page views, the resonance we're getting on Facebook already, and 117,000 views on Facebook, 300 odd followers already, a reach more than 20,000 in a few weeks. Again, that's just far exceeded what we thought we'd get in the first few weeks, and far exceeded, like I said, what you would see elsewhere. So we really think that we're onto something.
Yeah, that's incredibly positive. Great. Okay. Thank you, Carl. Again, we said we'll do some questions and answers at the end. So I'm just going to hand over to Robin, if I may. Over to you, Robin.
Hi, everyone. We just wanted to highlight and say thanks really for the support we've received so far in the first few weeks. We've had fantastic conversations, support, guidance, lead generation from the likes of Rochdale Development Agency, Paul at Rochdale Bid, the managing director at the football club, who's invited us to the event in May, which we're really looking forward to meeting some of you there, and some contacts at the council as well as Elsie being the MP in the nearest borough. So we're really pleased with what we've received, and we're looking forward to working with the businesses that they are supporting as well in the town. They've been really forthcoming with information, which is helping us to make sure we're on top of what's happening here and now as things develop in the town. And there's so many positive stories that they've been able to share, that we want to share, and that you might be able to tell us about. So from an editorial perspective, it's obviously Carl who you would reach out to, but from an advertising perspective or commercial perspective, it would be myself. If you go to the next slide for me, Nick. Thank you. I just wanted to show how the site is looking live as of today. This is banners, advertising banners we call them, which are available throughout the year, which you can book by a 1 week or 1 month tenancy, or the year if you so wish. We've currently got Hotwood Hall College, who are promoting an event which is happening next Thursday. So they've gone for a week tenancy, because obviously it's in a week's time, and that's all about trying to get people into teaching. So we've given them the horizontal strip across the top, which is a leaderboard banner, we call it, towards the top of the home website. We've also given them our double height MPU, which is the portrait large banner that you can see on the right hand side of the page there as well. And we've even given them the leaderboard banner further down, which is the dark blue banner you can see at the very top, bottom of the screen in the middle on the white screenshot. So it's almost a takeover, if you will, but we have different prices and packages available to suit small, medium and large businesses that we can support, and you can use to promote your business services, products, etc., whether you're beauticians or manufacturers or dentists, whatever it may be. We can obviously help, and we can advise whether it needs to be a press release via Carl, if it's more of a newsworthy story, or if it's more of a commercial opportunity, then obviously you can speak to myself. Thanks, Nick. Next slide. We also are offering a business partner profile, dissimilar to the Rochdale Online business directory, where you had business name and phone number or website address. It's more of a microsite, which is a nice window into your business. So A Slips Comedy have booked one already. It's live on the right hand side. And it's a nice way for us to use our traffic, for them to use our traffic, and us to promote your business. And any amends throughout the 12 months are free of charge. So you can contact us and say, I've got another event I want to put it on there, or we just had an award accreditation, or we've got a new video. You'd send me the YouTube link, or you might have a case study or a blog post, whatever it may be. It's quite a long piece of content, so you're not restricted like you are with a banner advert where you're trying to drive brand awareness. This is more of a engagement piece where you can explain fully what you do, what you offer, and can be flexible in terms of changing the content throughout the 12 months. We're really flexible as a business, so we offer monthly, quarterly, or you can pay in one lump sum payment plans, which is great to suit all budgets. And we're also going to be driving traffic to these partner profiles via our homepage. So on the homepage on the slide before, on the bottom right, you can see that we've done a few logos to drive people to the partner profiles, but we'll also be promoting them via social media, as well as our LinkedIn accounts, Facebook, Instagram, etc. So the more local businesses we can have on there, the better. We initially started off with a couple of filler ads just to give people an example of what they would look like, which is why Burnley College is on there at the moment. They'll eventually come down as we fill up with more local businesses. We've got Riverside, Rochdale. They've just booked a profile, so that'll be live in the next few days. AAA Pest Control is on there. ASIPS, as you can see, Hotwood Hall College. So we're starting to make traction, which is really exciting. Next slide, please, Nick. We have a media rate card, which we can share with you after the call. And that just kind of goes through the 1 week or the 1 month tenancy, like I explained, in terms of the leaderboard banner, which is the yellow one on this screen as an example. The MPU is a middle page unit. It's basically a square banner, and it's towards the right-hand side of our homepage, which is what you can see on the bottom left-hand of this screenshot. And we also have the double height MPU, which is essentially 2 MPUs stacked on top of each other. So you've got quite a large space, which is quite high up on the right hand side of our homepage. So that's quite a prime position. So they'll get booked up quite quickly. Obviously, we've got some people like the shopping centre who have booked for July for maybe a big sale. They've also booked for December, so they can promote their Christmas shopping events and things like that. So it's always best to try and pre-book to avoid disappointment if you've got any key dates that kind of work for your business, that if you want to advertise. In terms of the press releases, like I said, if it's a newsworthy story and it's not promoting your business in a kind of obvious way, and it's more of a news community story, call your man for that, and we'll try our best to do complimentary editorial as much as we can to support the town. If it's more of an editorial piece where you want to promote the business, you might have a new CEO or a new product launch or whatever it may be, then it might be something that you need me to help you with, and that's fine. We are offering a very large discount at the moment because we're new. We want to kind of prove to you what we can do and how well we're delivering in terms of a response. So I'm able to offer some high discounts initially for the first kind of month or so to be negotiated with Nick. And so these prices are kind of like the maximum that there will be, but we are open to some negotiations on that front. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Robin. And I think that's as much as we're going to sort of share at this stage. So hopefully that's been useful as a quick overview of who we are, the people behind the business, which organisations we work for, the reasons for getting involved with Rochdale and launching the Rochdale Times, some of the content strategies, and what that looks like moving forward, and again, how you may use that audience to help promote your own businesses via Robin. So we'll stop talking and now open up to anybody who's on the call. I can see there's quite a few on the call now who wants to ask any questions of myself or Robin, more likely to be towards Carl, our editor. So any questions? Don't be shy.
Oh,
I think we have Rob Chilton. Over to you, Rob. Hi, Rob, are you there? You might need to put your microphone on. I'll stop sharing my slide deck. Did you want to ask a question, Rob?
In case we can't hear you, it's put it in the chat. We are disabled from the chat. Okay.
Right. Okay. I might need to just do that then. All right, I'm not sure how I can disable that whilst we're sharing this now. Is your microphone working, Roger? Ask a question, Rob? Not in the chat, but just to talk to us.
If you want to use the chat button at the top, yeah, just type it now. Thanks, Rob. He's asking Nick, basically, I was wondering if you'd develop a separate title for Hayward and Middleton. I've been asked this already, but over to you guys. Like Reach do, is put.
Sorry, Kat.
All right, basically, I was wondering if you develop a separate title, right, at Hayward and Middleton, like Reach do.
At the minute, we're covering Hayward and Middleton as part of the proposition. In fact, one of the main writers that we're working with lives in Middleton. So, no, we have no current plans to do separate titles, but we will cover the whole of the borough.
Yeah, I think it's for now. It's a wider Rochdale borough news site. But let's see how things develop, Rob. But appreciate the question. Any other questions? Again, you can either use the do it in as Rob's just done through the chat, or you can ask us. If you just disable your microphone, you should be able to talk to us.
Or even any feedback on what you guys think about the site so far, or any advice for us?
Oh, thanks, Ian. Ian's typing. And so is Sam. No question, but thanks for the update, says Sam. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Is there a separate educational section?
Just on the education question, no, I mean that will form part of the news section, if you will. But as the site grows, hopefully in the way that we hope it will, and we were able to take on more writers and things like that, then we would potentially differentiate the content a little bit more. But at the minute, it being quite a small proposition means that really the three key pillars of the content that we've got is news, which is encompassing of education and breaking news and human interest stories and all that kind of stuff. Out and about, as we phrased it, which is a place where we can tell you what fun stuff's happening, but also a few lifestyle stories. The child culture stuff can all fit under that banner, and then of course sport. The three main pillars at the minute.
I'm trying to just disable some of the mics, so I can't remember who asked. Was it Ian that asked the question about mics? Ian Lindley. Robin, can you see that?
Yes, I'm trying to work my way through.
Yeah, Ian, I think we've just disabled your mic, so you should be able to speak if you wanted to.
We actually think they're live now.
Hello? We just heard somebody. I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah, we're just saying our mic's live now.
Oh,
It's,
brilliant.
It's Joe and Vicky from Altus Education. We asked the question about the educational section.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
We've got a question from Barbara Smith. Hi, Barbara. We're a community garden with involvement from a number of local charities. Do you have any proposals to support community involvement? If Carl, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, we would absolutely support it with things that you're doing. Let us know about it. We can speak to people from the project. Just let us know how we can help, really, and I'm sure we can.
I'll follow on from that as well, Carl. I've been speaking to a chap at Together After, oh God, I've forgot the name now, but it's basically, we're going to be working with the Army/Navy event that you've got a Box to Box bar, which is obviously a charity event. We're keen to promote any events like that. We've also been speaking to Spring Hill Hospice as well. So any kind of charity organisations, not for profit, we're really keen to support where we can. So send it across to myself or Carl, and we'll do our best to endeavour to get those positive community charity events and stories out there. A-slips as well, like we said before, although they've booked a partner profile, we are giving complimentary editorial for any charity events that he does, because it's important that we support you guys on that front.
Yeah, absolutely. Question from Anja: how can I get more involved as a local journalist? I think I'll be music to Cole's ears, probably. Hi, Anja. Carl, do you want to answer Anja's question?
Yeah. I think you may have recognised the name, so you may have already sent me a message. But if you send me a follow-up message, Anya, apologies. If you send me a follow-up message, we can chat. As we've said, things, it is new, so it is a small operation at the minute, and we're working with a few people already that are writing. I'm doing a bit of writing, but yeah, there will be plenty of opportunities coming down the tracks, no doubt.
Thanks, Anya. So yeah, Anya, please do get in touch. I'm sure we'd like to have a chat with you about that. Any other questions or feedback?
I just wanted to ask if anyone was brave enough to answer, if you felt that there was anything lacking or that we need to add on. Some people have mentioned we might need an events tab. You've got quite a lot of events happening in the town. We're open to, improvements and involvements to the site. If there's something that you feel strongly about, let us know either now or later. Any feedback would be really welcome at this early stage. Ruth is typing.
I can't see anybody typing from this side.
She was typing, then she stopped.
Okay.
Barbara's now typing. Give her a minute.
If the microphone's working again now, they seem to have gone off again, actually.
Just check. Going along, and everyone seems to be disabled. Ian's got his hand up, so he must not be able to speak.
I know, I was just being polite. I can speak. I was waiting for Barbara. I was waiting for Barbara to type, but while she's typing, I think in terms of the features, two of the things that sort of as a local organisation that we appreciated from Rochdale Online, that we got good feedback for. One was the events, which we've mentioned, and the other was that we did find that the recruitment side of it was quite useful, particularly in terms of finding local people and trying to make sure that the vacancies that we had were covered locally, and that we were getting that message out to people who live within the borough. I know it's sort of baby steps, but in terms of sort of things that we found useful that Rochdale Online did, that was those are two of the things that we'd definitely be interested in future.
Yeah, that's really good feedback. So, Ian, I take you worked for the Rochdale Online, did you?
Sorry, no, I'm communications manager at Rochdale Borough-wide Housing. So, speaking as someone that used those features with Rochdale Online.
Yeah, okay, no, that's really good feedback, Ian. Appreciate that. And Barbara, Barbara's asked a question. Is our best approach to email your editorial address? Yeah, so it's the what is the address? It's editorial@rochdaletimes.co.uk. So again, we'll share. You should have access to this recording, actually, Barbara, once we finish the meeting call, so you can access. But again, we'll have your details from registering, so we'll send you, Barbara, the best email address. But it is editorial@rochdaletimes.co.uk. Yeah, that's probably the best way. Or again, you can communicate messages on things like Facebook or Instagram. But yeah, probably email's probably your best bet. Great. If there's any final questions before we close this off. So quite a few people still on the call, which is good to see.
This was really helpful. Thank you. Thanks, Ian. That's all.
Thanks, Ian. Appreciate that.
I just second what Robin was saying a second ago. I think the response we've had from the community has been really, really good. So thank you from us. I think what we're trying to say is that this is a community asset as much as anything, and we want, from the idea that me and Nick saw the closure of Rochdale Online, which saddened us, from us having a conversation about that to about a week is us setting up. So it was very much, we didn't want the community to lose that community asset. So we did what we could to fill that gap, but it is very early doors, so it will shapeshift into something. And the more feedback we get from you into making it like Ian's suggestions there, the more we can make it something that the community really wants.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can see Robin's answered James's query. James, we talked to the postman, missed the first bit of the presentation, so we'll share that with you, James. And thank you, Sue, for the feedback as well. That's good to see. And yeah, I'll wrap it up from here. That as Carl's just outlined, this is really early days. We're 3-4 weeks into launching the site, and we were about 7 to 10 days after Rochdale Online closed. So it's a very quick launch from our side. And again, we have got experience of doing this as we have done working together previously. So yeah, look, we're looking forward to continue to grow. We've been overwhelmed by the audience numbers that we've seen so far. And as Carl said, let's not underestimate best part of 130,000 pages being read in the first 3 to 4 weeks. That really tells us something. And look, we'll continue to invest sensibly into this business as we gain further traction and also generate more things like advertising, allows us to go and invest in other areas and other content as people like Ian have identified and will find useful. So thank you very much. We'll share this presentation with you all separately. And no doubt we'll reach out to a number of you again moving forward. And again, if you want to get in touch with myself, Robin or Carl, then please do so on the various email addresses and telephone numbers that are all on the Rochdale Times website. All the contact details are on there. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for your time.